What's good? It's your boy, the urban legend, K to the Bird, KGUSA representative all day in the building. And today, I'm going to be getting into some facts and not fiction. Some facts, not fiction. I'm going to talk about how I linked with the legendary dipset artist, JR Writer, and we made a classic record together. We're going to get into it today on JR Writer. Facts, not fiction. Alright, for you out there that don't know, or maybe don't know who JR Writer is, JR Writer is an MC from Harlem, New York, one of the hardest spitters that ever came out of the game in Harlem. He a Harlem legend pretty much. He was discovered by Cameron. Yeah, your boy Cameron, Killer. Killer was the one that found JR Writer at 16. But before he was with Killer, he was already rapping in a group in Harlem with some young cats. It was him and Fred the Godson, rest in peace to the king. And I also think it was J Hood. I believe so. I think it was J Hood. They was in a little group together, you know what I mean, doing they duties in the hood. You know how most rappers start. We all start with, a group coming together as collective and trying to put that shit together on a major level. And initially, Killer Cameron wanted to sign JR Writer and Fred the Godson. But Fred the Godson was already on a contract, you know what I mean? He couldn't get out of it. He was over 18. And JR Writer was in the contract as well as a group, but he was only 16. So you know how the contracts go when you're a minor. A lot of things can be, adjusted, and a lot of things don't stand in court when it's signed as a minor. So after Killer discovered JR Writer, he first got his stripes in the street when he battled the legendary MC J Mills. If you don't know who J Mills is, do your research, another Harlem legend. He battled J Mills for approximately 20 bands. And from what I heard and from what the streets said, JR Writer took that 20 bands home, you know what I mean, breaking niggas' heart pretty much. So after that, JR Writer just been a spitter, a battler, but he been representing the dipset, even though he wasn't on a lot of their early records. When they dropped the first Diplomatic Immunity, he wasn't on that album. You know what I mean? Only rapper was on that album that wasn't from the clique that everybody knows was Hell Rel and Unakasa, I think that was his name. But JR Writer, man, he came later with his music. And when he started his music grind, he did mixtapes. And he famously got known for the most popular mixtape in the streets at that time, which was called a Writer's Block. You know what I mean? Then we dropped the Writers of Writers, Writers of All Writers. You know what I mean? Then he just started killing the mixtapes. I think he dropped like 7 or 8 of them. But then he dropped the album. His album was titled History in the Making. You know what I mean? History in the Making. The shit had a lot of good production on there. Cameron was on there. Joel Santana was on there. Hell Rel was on there and a lot of other members from the clique. But the album did straight, you know what I mean? I don't know if it went gold straight off the top, but it eventually went gold, and that's a big deal for a nigga that came off the streets or Harlem, just a spitter, didn't know a lot about the business and just finessed his way into a gold record. So you gotta salute JR Writer on that. Also at that time, he went on tour with, Dipset, around the time when Cameron did the Come Home With Me tour, then he did the Purple Haze tour. JR Writer was all over that shit. JR Writer was on the Purple Haze album, and every Diplomat album after Diplomatic Immunity, he was on the album. And on every album he was on, man, he held his own, man. The nigga is a real spitter. JR Writer always been about the lyrics, and that was the reason why I sought after him. I could have picked anybody else in the clique that I probably wanted to work with, but JR Writer was always a personal favorite because of his lyrics. Because of his lyrics, man, the way he come to the microphone, his approach and his delivery. He always been a one-on-one to me. So I was out here doing my thing, grinding, doing my music thing, coming off the album with Pat, then doing my solo albums, and I was working with Flip in Texas, and we was getting it on. At the time I was in Texas is when I reached out to JR Writer, you know what I mean? I reached out to him and told him, "Yo, I want to work with you, man." And he was like, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, I want to work with you, man. I know I'm a South cat. I'm a cat from the Carolina, but I care about lyricism. I care about the lyrics. I care about the flow. I care about the delivery. And I gave my passion. I just told him like how much I rock with the music, how much I rock with his shit in the past, and how he had remarkable, unforgettable bars. I could never forget or overlook, even if he didn't get the success as big as Killer, Cameron, and Jim Jones and everybody like that, but he had those lyrics, and I told him that, man. And we just had a real conversation, a real one-on-one, man. And in that convo, man, we built a little bit of respect for each other, you know what I mean? Well, I always had respect for him, and he built respect for me when I showed him what I was doing, showed him my catalog, let him listen to a couple of my tracks, you know what I mean? Let him know what I was doing out here and how I was coming. And he was like, yeah, you rapping, yo. I fuck with your shit. You rapping, you know what I mean? A lot of niggas from Harlem don't really rock with all the crazy, dumb shit or some of the shit that's not so lyrical or the party shit. They want to see what you spitting behind them bars. So I told him, man, I got some shit that I personally think that you would sound great on. I was working on a new album at that time titled The Bird Print. And I called it The Bird Print because I was doing renditions of Jay-Z's The Blueprint, paying a homage to that shit, paying homage to that shit, man, because you got to respect the ones that came before us, you know what I mean? You got to respect the legends, the OGs in the game. So I was making an album with, the new school vibe, but calling it The Blueprint / The Bird Print. So I was making that in my mind, and I already had Flip on the album, I already had Cali on the album, I had ESG on the album, and I said, yo, I need some of that East Coast spirit, a real lyrical cat from the East Coast. And I had a song I was remaking called Imaginary Player, and it's like a remake of Jay-Z's Imaginary Playmate, you know what I'm saying? So I had my producer from Baltimore, Bagged Up Beats, shout out to the homie, chop up the sample and put it together in a new school format so we can rock to it and bring it some new flavor. All right, put my hook down. Soon as the night that Bagged Up sent me the beat over on the file with my email, went to the studio, dropped the hook in the verse, and told JR Writer, man, this is the song I was telling you about, the idea I had that I want you to come on. Sent him the record, and he was like, oh, shit. I see how you coming, youngin'. This is some shit I can really rock with. This is some shit I can really vibe with. Give me a couple hours, I had that shit knocked out as soon as I get to the crib. Normally when an artist say that, they be bullshitting. An artist will tell you that shit just to get you to send them some bread, drop a deposit, or whatever But this time, the nigga was keeping it all the way 100, man. Keeping it all the way funky and real. And I love that about JR Writer, man. That's why I respect him and salute him as an artist and the fact that he cared about the music. Nigga got to the crib, hit me on the line, told me, how you think this sound? He already sent me a clip with him in the studio recording it with the the camera onto the mic, and he just let it play, and I was like, oh shit, I heard them bars, and I was like, oh shit. Then he started off like, the same way Hov started off, where he be like, I gotta be the pioneer to this shit. K Bird, we in the building, Harlem. As soon as I heard that shit, and then I heard the verse, I was like, yo, he coming right. My nigga JR Writer still got it, still got them bars, still got that voice, still got that delivery, and the record came out like a classic, man.